This is the coding of the Peterson's algorithm. So the coding has got a do while loop in which we have the statements as flag of I equal to true. See, for the ith process, we are actually looking at the code for the ith process. So accordingly, there will be a coding for the jth process where everything will be in reversed. That is, for the ith process, the first line is flag of I equal to true, which means that the ith process is first showing its intention to enter the critical section by setting its flag to true. So flag of I equal to true implies that ith process is willing to enter the critical section right now. Similarly, for the jth process, this would be like flag of j equal to true. So for the jth process, if it wants to enter the critical section, then the first line would be flag of j equal to true. Number 2, the second line is turn equal to j. See, you have to be very careful in noting down this particular line. It's not turn equal to I, even though we are actually looking at the code of the ith process. It's actually changing the turn to the other process. In the same way, the second process, that is jth process, will also have the statement like turn equal to I. They are actually not changing the turn to themselves but to other processes. Why this is done? What if they change the turn to themselves is mutual exclusion itself will fail. I just leave it to your self analysis. Just check whether what happens when you change the turn to their own ID. That is, I process makes it to turn equal to I, and jth process changes it to turn as j. And you can find out what is the flaw in that, why this it could lead to failure of mutual exclusion. But as of now, this is the way it works. So the turn is changed, and after that they check whether flag of j is true. This condition means that whether flag of j is true, that means it's either true or false depending upon the assignment statement, and here there is another assignment statement. So flag of j is if it is true and turn is equal to j is also true. If both conditions are true, then what happens? The process gets into a loop. So this loop, there is a semicolon put at the end of this while loop. You know the meaning of it. Whenever there is a semicolon at the while loop, and as long as that condition is true, the loop will be keep executed continuously. So it's like waiting. The process will be kept to wait without proceeding into the critical section. In other words, the process will have a chance to enter the critical section only if the condition is evaluated to false. Only if the condition is evaluated to false, the process succeeds in entering the critical section. But as long as the condition is true, it's not going to be allowed into the critical section. So this is what is checked by the first process. And for the second process, it will be like, it will check whether the ith process is inclined to enter the critical section, because flag of I process equal to true means that it wants to enter the critical section. So basically process j checks whether ith process wants to enter the critical section, and the turn is also I, which means process I is both willing and having the turn, which means the j's process has to stay away. Whereas if that either one of them is false, because for there is a usage of AND operator, okay, the AND operator requires that any one of the condition to be true for the overall output to be true. So if either the flag value does not is not true for the other process, or the turn is not for that particular process, any one of the condition is false, then that process is not going to be caught in the loop, and it will proceed into the critical section. So if you don't understand this clearly, we do have an example to look at and thoroughly understand this implementation. So this is the actual implementation. we have got the declaration of a boolean variable flag of 2, both are initialized with false. So initially both process 0 and process 1 are unwilling to, are not interested to enter the critical section, and this is coding of P0 process, coding of P1 process. So first line in the P0 process is flag of 0 equal to true, which means that the moment it wants to enter the critical section, the step 1 is change the flag of 0th index to true, to imply that to tell the other process that I am willing to access the critical section, or I have a need to access the critical section. So flag of 0 is set to true. Next, it changed the turn to the other process, which we already noticed in the previous slide, that each process changed the turn to the other process. So turn is 1, and after that it will evaluate whether flag of 1 equal to true, that is the flag of the other process is true, and also turn equal to 1, which means the other process is both willing and it has a turn, then it will get into a busy wait. So it won't enter into the critical section, instead it will get caught in the busy wait. But on the other hand, if either the flag is not true or the turn is not of that process, then one of the conditions will be false. And if one of the conditions is false, then this will not happen for the process, it will enter into the critical section, because for the and operator to be true, both conditions have to be true. Even if one of them is false, the overall condition will be false. So we will look at situations like, in the first situation, both P0 and P1 are willing to enter the critical section, which means that neither of them is in the critical section at the moment. None of them have entered into the critical section, but both want to enter the critical section. Now we have to enforce mutual exclusion, that only one of them should succeed in entering the critical section. Let us check whether it works correctly. So what will happen if this is the case? P0 change the flag to true. Similarly, P1 will also change the flag to true for itself. Now both flags are true. Now next line is turn equal to 1 and turn equal to 0. At this line there is going to be a race condition. At this line there is going to be a race condition, because they both are trying to access the same memory location. One trying to change it to 1, another trying to change it to 0, and it will result in race condition, and one of the will winner. The winner in the race is going to be one of the process. And as we have seen under already under race condition, in a race condition the loser is the winner, which means the second process. So we won't know which one will be the loser. For our sample case, let us assume that P0 is the loser, which means it is the second process to change the value of the turn, which means P1 change the value of turn to 0 first, and that value is then overwritten and modified by P0. So finally the value of turn equal to 1. Now what will happen? The P0 will check the while condition. If flag of 1 equal to true, yes, it is true, because both are willing, so flag 1 is true, and turn equal to 1, that is also true, because it just now it changed the turn to 1. So because both conditions are true, P0 will get blocked here, it will be stopped here, it can't go to the critical section. Now look at the other process. Here also P1 is trying to achieve the same. Flag of 0 is true, it's true, because P0 is also is interested to entering the critical section, so it is true. But turn equal to 0 is false, because though P1 changed the turn to 0 initially, it gets overwritten by the other process, so P0 changed it to 1, so this condition is false. So true false would result in false, so it comes into the critical section. So mutual exclusion succeeded. When both processes are willing to enter the critical section, only one of them is allowed, and which one is, that is not a issue. Our focus is only to ensure that no two process simultaneously enter the critical section. So by luck one of them will get into the critical section. Now the second case is that P1 is already in the critical section and P0 wants to enter the critical section. If P1 is already in the critical section, what will be the values? Turn flag of 1 is true. Okay, if P1 is already in the critical section, obviously flag of 1 is set to true and turn is set to 0. Only after that P1 enters the critical section. Now P0 wants to enter the critical section. So what it will do is that it will change its flag to true and it will change the turn to 1. So given these two values, it will evaluate this condition whether flag of 1 equal to true. Yes, it is true. Whether and turn equal to 1. That is also true because it just changed the turn to 1. And when both are true, the overall condition evaluates to true, resulting in busy wait. So P0 will be blocked while P1 is already in the critical section. So mutual exclusion succeeds in the second case also. Now the third case is that just the reverse. P0 in critical section and P1 wants to enter the critical section. It will just be a reverse condition like the turn of 0 is true and the turn is 1 and P0 is inside the critical section. When this process P1 wants to enter the critical section, it sets the flag of 1 to true and change the turn to 0 and condition will be false. Condition will be evaluated to true because flag of 0 is true and turn is also 0. So it will be true, overall true, busy wait. So there is no issue with this also. And finally, if P0 wants to enter and P1 has no interest at all, which means that the flag of 1 itself is false. When P1 is not even in the competition, its flag is simply set to false. Now what will happen? Only P0 is trying to access the critical section. So flag of 0 is set to true and turn is set to 1. Then it will check this condition. So flag of 1 equal to true, that is false because this has not been set by the process. So it's only going to be false. So flag of 1 equal to true will be false and turn of 1 is true. But still because it's an AND operator, it's going to result in failure of the if condition, that is the while loop will result in false, leading to P0 entering the critical section. So in all the four cases we could find that the mutual exclusion is successfully enforced so that only one process is able to enter the critical section. So this is the idea of Petersen solution, and you can also see why it won't work. Because if you change the number of processes to more than 2, then it is not possible to manage this these statements with more than 2 processes. This is meant for mutual exclusion just exactly among 2 processes. So we have to be capable of dealing with the different situations you are presented. So if you are presented a situation that currently P0 is in the critical section and P1 wants to enter the critical section, evaluate the Peterson's algorithm and prove that mutual exclusion will be enforced. So you should be able to give the explanation which I just provided to you now. So we now prove that this solution is correct. Okay, what we need to do now next is that we have to prove that this is an acceptable solution, because we saw that for a mutual exclusion solution to be acceptable, it has to have these 3 conditions. Mutual exclusion is preserved, progress requirement is satisfied, bounded waiting requirement is also met. We have elaborately dealt with the first aspect, that is mutual exclusion is provided in all the possible conditions. So we don't need to discuss about that, analyze that. We have to only focus on the second and third requirements. So progress requirement is satisfied. So what do you mean by progress requirement is that if there is no process already in the critical section and if a new process wants to enter the critical section, it should be able to enter. That is typically the case we had seen as this the fourth condition, that is P0 wants to enter the critical section and P1 does not even have any interest, and we saw that P0 is able to enter the critical section in that case. That proves that the progress condition is satisfied with the help of the Peterson's algorithm. So progress is guaranteed. Next one is bounded waiting time. Bounded waiting time means that if one process enters the critical section and if the other process is waiting for the critical section, as soon as the first process comes out of it, the second process gets a turn. If a process never gets a turn, it will result in starvation. And Peterson's algorithm is never going to result in starvation because it is only dealing with the two processes at a time. So whenever the first process finishes execution, immediately the second process gets the turn, and when the second finishes, the first process gets it done. Starvation is likely to happen only when you are dealing with the number of processes, many processes, and few processes may be overlooked permanently. So such a situation will never arise in the Peterson's solution. So Peterson's algorithm is proven to provide mutual exclusion among concurrent processes on critical section. Now we have discussed elaborately the problems of concurrency and parallel processing, and what happens when shared data or shared resource is caught in concurrent processing, and the problem of race condition and data inconsistency, and the solution that is enforcement of mutual exclusion, for which we have to create a critical section in each and every process. And for a mutual exclusion to be acceptable, it has to possess three conditions. And finally we have seen the algorithm of Peterson's, which is a older and it is outdated solution. We no longer practice it in any operating system, but it is a good way to understand a simple solution we can develop for the problem of concurrency and synchronization. Thank you.